first of all, yes, I did shave. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. I'm trying it out. Trimmed my hair as well. Did that all myself. Because I've been using this hair loss foam, and I felt like it was kind of getting tricky with my hair longer, so I took it down short. But it's been working well. If any of you guys have issues with that, and you've been on the fence about it, I definitely recommend it. It's worked wonders for me. I'm gonna drink this sparkling water today. I usually don't do sparkling water, but this one here I really like. It's lightly sparkling spring water, so maybe that's why I like it, because it's only lightly sparkling. Yeah, that's delicious. It's not even flavored either, it's just really good. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the NHL trade deadline. Just came in wind the other day. I'm not gonna talk about every move. Just some of the bigger moves from the deadline, as well as some other things kind of surrounding it. So first and foremost, let's talk about something just beeped over there. I have no idea what. Let's talk about the moves that my favorite team made, shall we? The Vegas Golden Knights. We did a lot of moves at this deadline, which I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, the window is open right now. We just won the cup last year, so okay. Push, try and go for it, right? But on the other hand, we're in a slump right now. In my opinion, the team is kinda telling you it's not good enough. To a degree, the team's kinda I don't know, I think it's very possible that Vegas could miss the playoffs this season. And making these big moves, if they miss the playoffs, is just gonna make things worse. But the big one they did, they did a couple big ones, but the first one was Vegas receives Tomas Hertl, as well as 2 third-round picks from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for David Edstrom, a 2025 first-round pick, and that's it. And I think this is actually the very first trade that Vegas and San Jose have ever made with each other. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was Aiden Hill a trade or a waiver, free agent or something like that. I can't remember. But Tomas Hertl, San Jose is retaining 17% on his $8.1 million deal. So I feel like we're paying him just over $7 million for cap purposes, and that's over the length of the deal, which I think is 6 more years. Hertl had 34 points in 48 games this season, but he's currently out with a knee injury. So I think he's on LTIR, I'm not 100% sure. David Edstrom is, obviously this is a win now move, and that's awesome, but Edstrom is a prospect that I was personally very excited to see him in the NHL. He's currently playing for Frölunda in the SHL. He's a center, he's only 19 years old, but he projects to be a middle 6 center, and honestly, the dude, I've watched a little bit of him. I've never seen him get bullied off the puck. He is strong. Dude is so strong. If that puck is on his stick, you are not getting it off his stick. This season he has 7 goals, 12 assists in 43 games for Frölunda. in the, that's the Swedish Hockey League, I believe. And then, there was the deal where Vegas got Noah Hanifin from the Calgary Flames. Flames retained 50% on that deal, and the trade got routed through Philadelphia, who retained 50% of what was left over, so Vegas is only paying like 25% of his contract. He's on a 1-year deal. And then, with some guys, Marchessault's probably leaving this year. Alec Martinez is probably out the door this year, so that'll free up some money to extend Noah Hanifin. I don't know, money's gonna get weird this offseason, but we say that every offseason, and then Vegas just keeps doing this. In the deal, Vegas sent to Calgary Daniil Miramanov, 26-year-old Russian defenseman. I really like Miramanov. I think he'll be a good player in Calgary, because he just didn't get enough ice time, really, in Vegas, because Vegas has such a strong defense. But whenever he was on the ice, I always liked what Daniil Miramanov was showing. Him and Pavel Dorofeyev were like two of my favorite prospects on the team. Thankfully, Dorofeyev's still around. I think he actually had a goal today against the Red Wings. Calgary also receives Vegas's 2026 first-round pick, and Philadelphia receives a 2024 fourth-round pick for their troubles in retaining on Hanifin. In addition to that, Vegas also got Anthony Mantha as well. So, I don't remember what the deal was on that off the top of my head, but Vegas got a middle six center in Tomas Hertl. I mean, I could even see him potentially playing on Eichel's wing, but I feel like he's probably going to center the second line when the full team is healthy, if they're ever fully healthy. Then Noah Hanifin, who is probably a second pairing defenseman, maybe even a first pairing defenseman on this team, depends on who his partner is. I could see him and Pietrangelo working well together. I could see him and Haig. I think he could fit anywhere in any Vegas defensive pairing, if I'm being honest. And then Mantha, who's probably a bottom six center, but I could even see him filling in on the second line if he needs for injury purposes. I think Vegas did very good this trade deadline, and just call us the Los Angeles Rams at this point. We're just sending out every pick we get, trading it for win-now players. And if you look at it in a way, with our first-round pick, we basically drafted Noah Hanifin, and we drafted Tomas Hertl. We can look at it that way, I suppose. Next up, this move from the Winnipeg Jets. I thought this was a pretty big move. Let me take another drink of water here. The Winnipeg Jets receive Tyler Toffoli, who's on his fourth team in 4 years. Just crazy. I remember he was with the Kings for a long time, wasn't he? I think he was a long time King. He was with the Devils, who were, their season is not going the way I expected it to. I expected them to be cup contenders, and I don't know what went wrong with the Devils, but he had 44 points in 61 games with the Devils, and he led the entire team with 26 goals. Winnipeg is getting a great proven goal scorer. I think Winnipeg, they see that they have an opportunity right now. Honestly, is this the best? This feels like this year might be the best chance for a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. Vancouver's really good. Winnipeg's really good. Toronto's pretty good. Edmonton's really good. this has to be right. This has to be the best. Like, I feel like the odds of a Canadian team winning this year. The hard part for Canadian teams, though, is that 3 of the best Canadian teams are all in the West, so they're gonna take each other out, right? But yeah, the Canadian Cup drought might be coming to an end. The Devils receive a 2024 third-round pick and a 2025 second-round pick. The Devils also are retaining half of Tyler Toffoli's $4.3 million contract. And personally, I think Tyler Toffoli is going to pair really well with Sean Moynihan in Winnipeg. I can see that being a really deadly combo. The Carolina Hurricanes made the biggest splash, in my opinion. They got the biggest name of the trade deadline. The guy everyone's kind of keeping an eye on in Jake Gensel. They also received Ty Smith, who's an AHL guy, but I think that was kind of just to make the contracts work out. I'm not sure that they actually really wanted him. Gensel has played 50 games, has 22 goals and 30 assists for 52 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they receive Michael Bunting, who's a Dubas guy, so he gets his guy back. And then they receive a number of prospects. Vasily Ponomarev, Ville Koivunen, and Cruz Lucius. The Pittsburgh Penguins also receive a conditional first-round pick and a conditional fifth-round pick, both in 2024. The Penguins also retain $1.5 million on Jake Gensel, and man, this season for the Penguins. I said in my season prediction video, this is going to be a boom or bust season for the Penguins. I said this is they're either going to be a top 3 team or a bottom 3 team, and it has gone the bad way. Sidney Crosby's been having a good season. Gensel, as you just heard, is having a good season, but the team overall is just, it's not been there, and it's really unfortunate. And I think Gensel leaving actually seemed like it actually really upset Crosby. He seemed to really like Gensel. So you wonder now, like, what are the Penguins going to do long term? Are they going to push, try to compete again next season? Like, you kind of have to, as long as Sidney Crosby's there, so I don't know. We'll see. But then in another move, the Carolina Hurricanes received Evgeny Kuznetsov. He had 6 goals, 11 assists, and 17 points in 44 games played. There's a weird thing with him, like Washington had sent him down to the Hershey Bears. I'm not really sure if it was like a performance thing. I thought he might get claimed on waivers. He didn't. In exchange, the Hurricanes send a third-round pick in 2025 to Washington, and Washington retains half of Evgeny Kuznetsov's $7.8 million contract. A lot of salary retention going on at this deadline. Okay. Tampa Bay. This actually wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know why I put it on this list, but Tampa Bay received Matt Dumba and a 2025 7th round pick in exchange for a 2027 5th round pick. Dumba has 4 goals and 6 assists for 10 points in 59 games played, and man, I think it's more just to talk about the fall from grace for Matt Dumba. I remember a few years back, he had that season in Minnesota. I think he had, like 50 points or something like that as a defenseman. And he got that huge contract that ended up blowing up in their face. He was in Arizona on like a 1-year prove-it deal. Now he's in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is kind of low-key been like a disaster. And maybe he can come in and they're thinking he might be able to spark something. Who knows? I think he actually has played one game and already had kind of a decent game there in Tampa Bay, so maybe they're onto something there. But yeah, I mean, what a fall from grace from Matt Dumba. But hey, maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll put Tampa back into contender status. I don't know. Stamkos is having a down season. Pretty sure. I don't know, my friend's a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. He's telling me, like, he's not sure if they should re-sign Stamkos. He doesn't know what kind of money he's gonna get. All that stuff. The Florida Panthers receive Vladimir Tarasenko from the Ottawa Senators, another team who underperformed relative to expectations. Ottawa was expected to do some big things this season. They're one of the most hyped up teams of the offseason, along with New Jersey, and then it just did not translate whatsoever on the ice. So Ottawa sends Vladimir Tarasenko to Florida, and the Senators also retain half of his $5 million contract. But this was kind of like you can't really get too mad at the return here, because Tarasenko said he was only willing to waive his new no-trade clause for Florida. He did not want to go to any other team, only the Florida Panthers. And I think this is the last year of his deal, so if you're Ottawa, you either lose him for nothing, or you can get a 2024 conditional 4th round pick and a 2025 3rd round pick from Florida, which is, that's all you're going to get. Tarasenko has 41 points in 57 games played this year. A big addition to Florida, who's looking to, of course, get back to the Stanley Cup final after falling short last year to Vegas. And then the final big move here, then I just have some little things with the Edmonton Oilers. Get Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for a 2024 first round pick and a conditional 2025 5th round pick. The condition being they get the pick if the Oilers win the Stanley Cup. Adam Henrique has 18 goals, 24 assists in 62 games played. It's 42 points for keeping track. And Sam Carrick, 63 games played, 8 goals, 3 assists for 11 points. I don't think he's more of a depth piece here, but Adam Henrique, he can play center and he can play left wing. He can play all up and down the lineup. I don't know, maybe he might be your 2C. Maybe he allows you to experiment with breaking up McDavid and Draisaitl. I don't know, but Henrique is a great getter. The Edmonton Oilers makes him a lot more dangerous, for sure. And the Anaheim Ducks now have 2 first-round picks in this coming draft. I don't know how strong of a draft this is meant to be, but Anaheim has 2 first-round picks. I think they have 4 picks total in the first 2 rounds, and then like 7 total picks in rounds 3, 4, and 5. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's something like that. So Anaheim, they're definitely still retooling. And then, okay, just some other things, just some little moves and little notes I made here. Bowen Byram, a hockey trade. He goes from Colorado to Buffalo for Casey Middlestat. Casey Middlestat is going to be very dangerous in that Colorado Avalanche offense, because he was dangerous in that bad Buffalo Sabres offense, right? Kyle Okposo, he goes from Buffalo to Florida. This is probably his last year in the league. I think he's like, 38 or something now, maybe 37. But yeah, Kyle Okposo, he gets a chance to go to a contender in Florida. And then a couple teams that were quiet that I thought was weird. The Detroit Red Wings didn't make any moves at the deadline. And I thought with them bringing in Patrick Kane, making a deadline move to like supplement that team and make a playoff push, because that's why Patrick Kane is there. You know, he thinks they're good enough to win, but they just didn't make a move to supplement the team. I don't know if like they just couldn't beat anyone's offers or if they weren't really looking, but personally I just thought it was weird that Detroit stayed put. The Los Angeles Kings also didn't make any moves, which again, they're a team trying to push into a playoff spot right now. They're competing with Vegas for that spot in the West. So I thought, you know, with Vegas loading up on guys, maybe the LA Kings would want to spend a little bit to bring in some help, but I don't know, maybe they're okay with missing the playoffs this year. They think, you know, that their time's a little bit down the line, or maybe they think they're good enough as is. I don't know if I agree. Then the Islanders are also quiet at the deadline. This is the third straight year Lou Lamoriello has not made a trade on deadline day. So just kind of an interesting note. But anyways, guys, this was a super quick overview just of what I thought were some of the biggest, most impactful moves of this trade deadline. I don't know, not maybe there was some excitement, but the Hurdle move and Hannafin moves, I feel like Hannafin, Hurdle, and Gensel were like the big moves here. Everything else didn't feel like there was a ton of fanfare around it, but we'll see what happens from here on out. And then obviously, as we get into the playoffs, I think that I'll be doing prediction videos. I'll be talking about playoff pictures, things like that. You know, more NHL videos coming soon, but let me know in the comments down below what you think about how your team did at this year's trade deadline. What do you expect to be happening here in the final couple weeks of the season as we get ready for the playoffs? If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. And until next time, guys.